The vast expanse of space buzzed with activity. Countless alien races zoomed across the galaxy in their advanced ships. They thought they knew everything about the universe. But they were wrong. In this busy cosmic neighborhood, Earth was like a quiet kid in the corner. The powerful galactic empires looked at humans and laughed. They saw Earth's technology and thought it was a joke. "Look at those silly humans," a blue-skinned alien would say, pointing at Earth on a star map. "They still use fossil fuels. I heard they haven't even colonized their own moon yet," another alien with tentacles for arms would reply, shaking with laughter. Earth's spaceships were especially funny to them. Humans were still stuck using clunky rockets and basic shuttles. These three-dimensional vessels seemed like toys compared to the sleek, dimension-hopping ships of advanced races. At galactic meetings, Earth's representatives sat in the back. No one took them seriously. When humans tried to speak, the other aliens would roll their eyes or check their communication devices. But what these arrogant aliens didn't know was that appearances can be deceiving. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, in hidden labs around the world, something amazing was happening. While aliens mocked them openly, Earth's top scientists were working on a secret project. They were building something that would change everything. In one of these labs, Dr. Elena Rodriguez wiped sweat from her forehead. She had been working for 20 hours straight. The holographic display in front of her showed complex equations that would make most people's heads spin. "We're close," she muttered to herself. "I can feel it." Dr. Rodriguez was part of a global team of geniuses. Physicists, engineers, and mathematicians from every continent were working together. Their goal? To create a ship that could travel through the seventh dimension. Most races in the galaxy had mastered five-dimensional travel. The most advanced ones could even touch the sixth dimension. But the seventh? That was thought to be impossible. Yet here were the humans, the laughingstock of the galaxy, trying to do the impossible. In another part of the lab, Dr. Yuki Tanaka was testing a new material. It looked like ordinary metal, but it wasn't. This material could bend reality itself. If it worked, it would be the key to their seventh-dimensional ship. "How's it going, Yuki?" asked Dr. Rodriguez, walking over. Dr. Tanaka looked up with tired but excited eyes. "Elena, you won't believe this. The material. It's stable. We did it." The two scientists hugged, tears in their eyes. Years of work, of being mocked and underestimated, were finally paying off. Meanwhile, in space, alien ships continued to zoom past Earth. They didn't give the blue planet a second glance. Why would they? It was just a backward world full of primitive apes. Little did they know that those primitive apes were about to turn the galaxy upside down. Back on Earth, in capitals around the world, government leaders met in secret. They discussed the progress of the project, which they had named Operation Cosmic Leap. "Are we sure about this?" asked one nervous politician. "If the galactic community finds out." "They won't," assured a military general. "And even if they did, they'd never believe it. Our reputation as cosmic fools is our greatest cover." As these meetings happened, ordinary people went about their lives. They worked, played, and dreamed, unaware of the incredible secret brewing beneath their feet. Humans had always looked up at the stars with wonder. Soon, they would be reaching those stars in ways no one thought possible. In the lab, Dr. Rodriguez looked at the prototype of their ship. It was small, not much bigger than a car. But size didn't matter in the seventh dimension. This little ship, once complete, would have power beyond imagination. "Soon," she whispered, touching the ship's smooth surface. "Soon, we'll show them all what humanity can do." As Earth rotated peacefully in space, the galaxy continued to laugh. But the cosmic joke was about to have a punchline no one saw coming. In a small, unassuming building on the outskirts of New Delhi, Dr. Aisha Khan sipped her third cup of coffee. The clock on the wall showed 3 a.m., but time had lost all meaning for her team. They were chasing something bigger than day or night. They were chasing the secrets of the universe. Project Ascension, was written in big letters on a whiteboard. Under it, complex equations and diagrams covered every inch of space. To an outsider, it would look like the scribblings of a madman. But to Dr. Khan and her team, it was the key to unlocking the seventh dimension. "Dr. Khan, you need to see this," called out her assistant, Raj. His eyes were wide with excitement as he pointed to a computer screen. Aisha rushed over, nearly spilling her coffee. On the screen, a simulation was running. It showed their theoretical seventh-dimensional vessel slipping between realities like a fish through water. "It's working," Aisha whispered, her voice filled with awe. "The math, it's actually working." While the team celebrated this small victory, the rest of the world slept. And up in space, alien ships continued to zip by Earth, never giving it a second glance. In a grand hall on a distant planet, galactic leaders were having a meeting. Holograms of different alien species flickered around a large table. "Now, on to the matter of that primitive planet. What was it called again?" asked a tall, gray alien. "Earth, I believe," replied another with tentacles for hair. "Do we really need to discuss them? They're hardly worth our time." The aliens laughed, their various appendages shaking with mirth. Little did they know that the very humans they mocked were about to change everything. Back on Earth, in labs scattered across the globe, other teams were working on different parts of Project Ascension. In Brazil, engineers were designing the ship's outer shell. In Japan, quantum physicists were fine-tuning the dimensional drive. And in Antarctica, hidden deep under the ice, a team was building the actual vessel. But the heart of the project was in New Delhi with Dr. Khan and her team. They were the ones trying to understand and control seventh-dimensional physics. "Okay, team," Aisha said, clapping her hands to get everyone's attention. "We've made a breakthrough, but we're not done yet. We need to figure out how to stabilize the dimensional shift." As they worked, news reports played quietly on a screen in the corner. Alien delegations were visiting Earth, supposedly on diplomatic missions, but the humans knew better. These visits were just chances for the aliens to gawk at the primitive species. "Did you see that Zorgan ambassador yesterday?" Raj asked during a coffee break. He was trying not to laugh when he saw our advanced maglev trains. Aisha nodded, a small smile on her face. "Let them laugh. They have no idea what's coming." Days turned into weeks. The team barely left the lab. They ordered food, slept on cots, and showered in a small bathroom. Their families worried, but they all knew the importance of their work. One day, as Aisha was deep in thought, staring at a holographic model of their theoretical ship, she had an epiphany. "That's it," she shouted, startling everyone. "We've been approaching this all wrong. We don't need to force our way into the seventh dimension. We need to let it come to us." She rushed to the whiteboard, erasing equations and writing new ones at lightning speed. The team gathered around, watching in amazement as a new theory took shape before their eyes. "Dr. Khan," whispered one of the younger scientists, "if this works." "It will work," Aisha said with quiet confidence, "and when it does, the galaxy will never be the same." As the team got to work implementing the new theory, somewhere in space, an alien ship captain was regaling his crew with tales of his recent visit to Earth. "And then," he said, laughing so hard he could barely speak, "they showed me their pride and joy. A rocket ship. Can you believe it? They're still using rockets." The crew howled with laughter, unaware that soon, those same primitive humans would make their advanced ships look like children's toys. Back in the lab, Aisha looked at her team with pride. They were tired, overworked, and under immense pressure, but in their eyes burned a fire, the fire of human determination and ingenuity. "We're close," she told them. "The seventh dimension is almost within our grasp, and when we reach it, we'll show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." As night fell over New Delhi, the small, unassuming building glowed with activity. Inside, a group of dedicated humans worked tirelessly, preparing to turn the cosmic joke on its head. The lab was quiet except for the soft hum of machines and the occasional beep of computers. Dr. Aisha Khan stood in front of a large holographic display, her eyes moving rapidly as she studied the complex patterns before her. It was 2 a.m., and she had been staring at these same equations for hours. Suddenly, something clicked in her mind. Her eyes widened, and her heart began to race. "This can't be," she whispered to herself. "It's too simple." With shaking hands, she began to input new commands into the computer. The holographic display shifted, showing a new set of equations and 3D models. "Raj," she called out, her voice echoing in the quiet lab. "Raj, wake up. I need you to see this." Raj, who had been napping on a nearby couch, jolted awake. He rubbed his eyes and hurried over to Dr. Khan. "What is it, Dr. Khan?" he asked, stifling a yawn. "Look," she said, pointing to the display. "We've been approaching this all wrong. We've been trying to force our way into the 7th dimension, but that's not how it works. The 7th dimension is all around us, all the time. We just need to nudge it a little." Raj's eyes widened as he began to understand what he was seeing. "Dr. Khan," he said slowly, "if this is correct, it changes everything." "Exactly," Aisha nodded, a smile spreading across her face. "Wake everyone up. We have work to do." As the team gathered around, Aisha explained her breakthrough. The 7th dimension wasn't a place they needed to go to. It was a fabric they could manipulate from right here in the 3rd dimension. With the right tools and energy, they could create ripples in this fabric, allowing their ship to ride these ripples across vast distances and even through time itself. The lab burst into activity. Scientists rushed to their stations, running simulations and checking calculations. Engineers began modifying their designs for the ship's engines. Everyone worked with a renewed sense of purpose and excitement. Meanwhile, in space, an alien cruise ship was passing by Earth. The passengers gathered at the viewing windows, pointing and laughing at the primitive planet. "Look at that," one alien said, its tentacles waving in amusement. "They still have visible pollution in their atmosphere. How quaint. I heard they're still excited about reaching their own moon." Another alien chuckled. "Can you imagine?" Little did they know that beneath the surface of this primitive planet, a revolution was brewing. Back in the lab, the first tests of Aisha's theory were underway. They had constructed a small prototype, a sphere about the size of a basketball. If their calculations were correct, this sphere should be able to create tiny ripples in the 7th dimensional fabric. Aisha took a deep breath as she initiated the test sequence. The sphere began to hum, glowing with an otherworldly light. The air around it seemed to shimmer and bend. "Energy levels stable," Raj reported, his eyes glued to the monitors. "Dimensional readings are—" "Wait, this can't be right." "What is it?" Aisha asked, her heart pounding. "The sphere," Raj said, his voice filled with awe. "It's not just creating ripples. It's gone, but I'm still getting readings from it." Aisha rushed to the monitors. The sphere had indeed vanished from sight, but the sensors were detecting its presence everywhere. "It worked," Aisha whispered. "It actually worked. The sphere is existing in the 7th dimension. It's everywhere and nowhere at once." The team erupted in cheers. Hugs were exchanged. Tears were shed. Years of work, of being mocked and underestimated, had led to this moment. As the celebration continued, Aisha slipped away to make a phone call. She dialed a secure number, her hands still shaking with excitement. "This is Dr. Khan," she said when the call was answered. "Tell the president, Project Ascension is ready for the next phase. We can build the ship." Thousands of miles away, in a secret underground facility, work began on the full-sized 7th dimensional vessel. Engineers and workers, who had been on standby for months, sprang into action. The ship began to take shape, a sleek, otherworldly design unlike anything humans had built before. It didn't need massive engines or fuel tanks. All it needed was the ability to nudge the fabric of the seventh dimension. As the sun rose over New Delhi, Aisha looked out the window of her lab. To the rest of the world, it was just another day. But she knew different. Today was the day humanity took its first real step into the stars. "Get ready, Galaxy," she murmured to herself, a determined smile on her face. "Here we come." The Galactic Council chamber was abuzz with activity. Aliens of all shapes and sizes gathered around a massive holographic display of the Milky Way. At the center of attention was a small blue planet, Earth. "The humans have become problematic," announced Zorg X7, the Council's leader. His 7 eyes blinked in sequence as he spoke. "They're advancing too quickly. It's time we dealt with them." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. For years, the Council had watched Earth with amusement. But recently, strange energy readings had been detected from the planet. It was making the powerful alien races nervous. "I propose we eliminate the threat before it grows," said Clix-Clax, a gelatinous being from the Andromeda Galaxy. "A simple orbital bombardment should suffice." The Council voted. The decision was unanimous. Earth was to be destroyed. Unaware of the danger lurking in the stars, life on Earth continued as normal. People went about their daily routines, oblivious to the fact that their planet had just been marked for destruction. In her lab, Dr. Aisha Khan was putting the finishing touches on the control systems for humanity's secret weapon, the seventh dimensional vessel. She had no idea that her work was about to become Earth's last hope for survival. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. Aisha's team looked up in confusion as red lights flashed. "What's going on?" Raj asked, his voice tinged with panic. Before anyone could answer, a holographic screen flickered to life. The grim face of the United Nations Secretary General appeared. "Attention all Project Ascension personnel," she said, her voice grave. "We've received an urgent communication from our deep space monitoring stations. A massive alien fleet is heading towards Earth. Their intentions are hostile." Gasps and cries of shock filled the lab. Aisha felt her heart sink. They weren't ready. The ship wasn't complete. "How long do we have?" she asked, her voice steadier than she felt. "The fleet will reach Earth in 72 hours, the Secretary General replied. "Dr. Khan, I don't need to tell you what this means. Your project is no longer just a scientific endeavor. It's our only hope for survival." As the transmission ended, chaos erupted in the lab. People shouted, some cried, others stood in shocked silence. "Quiet," Aisha yelled, her voice cutting through the noise. "We don't have time for panic. We have a job to do." She turned to her team, her eyes blazing with determination. "We've been working towards this moment for years. The world needs us now. We can do this." Inspired by her words, the team sprang into action. They had 3 days to finish a project that should have taken months. Meanwhile, in space, the alien armada approached. Thousands of ships, each capable of destroying entire cities, moved in perfect formation. At the head of the fleet was the Obliterator, a planet-killing weapon the size of a small moon. On Earth, governments worldwide revealed the truth to their citizens. Panic spread like wildfire. Some people rioted, others prayed, many simply hugged their loved ones and waited for the end. But in secret facilities around the globe, humanity's best and brightest worked tirelessly. The seventh dimensional vessel, now named Hope, was their one chance at survival. In her lab, Aisha worked without rest. She coordinated with teams around the world, solving problems and overcoming obstacles at a pace that would have seemed impossible just days ago. As the hours ticked by, Hope began to take shape. It wasn't big, no larger than a typical passenger airplane. But size didn't matter in the seventh dimension. With just 24 hours left before the alien fleet arrived, Aisha faced a difficult decision. The ship was operational, but untested. Launching it was risky, but waiting meant certain doom. She called an emergency meeting with world leaders. On screens around her, tired and fearful faces looked to her for guidance. "The ship is our only chance," Aisha said, her voice firm. "It's not perfect, but it's ready. We need to launch now." There was a moment of tense silence. Then, one by one, the leaders nodded their agreement. As the alien fleet entered the solar system, final preparations for launch began. Aisha and a small crew boarded Hope. They were humanity's last line of defense. Aisha looked out at her homeworld, possibly for the last time. The weight of billions of lives rested on her shoulders. "Initiating launch sequence," she said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "May fortune favor the bold." As Hope prepared to meet the alien armada, the fate of Earth hung in the balance. The cosmic joke had turned deadly serious, and it was time for humanity to deliver the punchline. The Earth trembled as the alien fleet entered the solar system. Massive ships, each larger than a city, cast long shadows over the moon. On Earth, people huddled in fear, their eyes fixed on the sky. But deep beneath the surface, in a hidden launch bay, Hope was taking flight. Hope sat on the launch pad, its sleek design unlike any spacecraft ever built. Dr. Aisha Khan and her small crew of 5 stood before it, their faces a mix of determination and awe. "This is it," Aisha said, her voice steady. "Everything we've worked for comes down to this moment." They boarded the ship, each step heavy with the weight of responsibility. As Aisha settled into the captain's chair, she took a deep breath. "Launch sequence initiated," she announced. The ship hummed to life. There was no roar of engines, no plume of smoke. Instead, the air around Hope began to shimmer and bend. In space, the alien fleet's sensors suddenly went haywire. Something was happening on Earth, but they couldn't tell what. Back in the launch bay, Hope began to fade from view. It wasn't moving up. It was shifting sideways, into dimensions the human eye couldn't see. "Seventh dimensional drive engage," reported Raj from his station. We're in." The launch bay was empty. Hope had vanished. In the command ship of the alien fleet, alarms blared. The Supreme Commander, a being of pure energy contained in a hovering orb, pulsed with confusion. "What is happening?" it demanded. "Where did that energy signature come from?" Before anyone could answer, Hope appeared right in the middle of the alien fleet. But to call it an appearance would be an understatement. The ship didn't just show up, it warped reality around it. Alien ships spun out of control as space itself twisted. Some vessels were split in half, others imploded as the fabric of space-time buckled around them. Inside, Hope, Aisha and her crew watched in amazement. The ship's sensors showed them things no human had ever seen before. They were flying through the 7th dimension, using it to bend 3-dimensional space to their will. "It's working," Aisha exclaimed. "Raj, target the main command ship." Hope blinked out of existence again, reappearing seconds later right in front of the alien flagship. The massive vessel, easily 1,000 times larger than Hope, tried to bring its weapons to bear. But in the 7th dimension, size meant nothing. Hope danced around the lumbering alien ship, reality warping with each move. The alien Supreme Commander watched in horror as its mighty fleet was thrown into chaos by a ship it could barely see. "Impossible," it pulsed. "How can they control the 7th dimension? They're primitives." On Earth, people watched their screens in disbelief. The alien fleet, which had seemed invincible moments ago, was now in disarray. And at the center of it all was a tiny blip, humanity's last hope. Back on Hope, Aisha made a bold decision. "We need to end this now," she said. "Prepare for a full dimensional shift. We're taking out their command ship." The crew looked at her in shock. A full dimensional shift had never been attempted. It could tear the ship apart. But they trusted Aisha. As one, they began the preparations. Hope started to glow, energy from the 7th dimension pouring into it. The alien flagship, recognizing the threat, tried to escape. But it was too late. With a flash that could be seen from Earth, Hope unleashed its power. The fabric of reality around the alien command ship twisted, warped, and then collapsed. In an instant, the mighty vessel was gone, swallowed by the seventh dimension. The remaining alien ships, now leaderless and terrified, began to retreat. Inside Hope, the crew cheered. Aisha slumped in her chair, exhausted but triumphant. "We did it," she whispered. "We actually did it." As Hope turned back towards Earth, the planet erupted in celebration. Humanity had faced its greatest threat and emerged victorious. But Aisha knew this was just the beginning. They had unlocked the power of the seventh dimension. The galaxy would never be the same again. As they approached Earth, Aisha looked at her brave crew. "Well done, everyone," she said with a smile. "Now let's go home and show the universe what humanity can really do." Hope flickered and vanished, leaving behind a galaxy forever changed by humanity's ingenuity and courage. The galaxy held its breath as Hope danced through the stars. Dr. Aisha Khan and her crew had just defeated the alien armada, but their work was far from over. Now they had to show the universe the true power of their seventh-dimensional vessel. "All right, team," Aisha said, her voice filled with excitement. "Let's see what this ship can really do." With a thought, Aisha guided Hope towards a nearby star system. The ship didn't fly. It simply ceased to exist in one place and appeared in another. "Incredible," whispered Raj, staring at the redouts. "We've just traveled 50 light years in less than a second." But distance was only the beginning. As Hope approached a massive gas giant, Aisha had an idea. "Watch this," she said with a grin. She focused her thoughts, and suddenly, the gas giant began to shrink. It didn't just look smaller, it was actually decreasing in size. Are we compressing an entire planet?" asked Sarah, the ship's physicist, her eyes wide with disbelief. Aisha nodded. "In the seventh dimension, size is just another variable we can control." Within minutes, the gas giant had shrunk to the size of a marble. Aisha carefully maneuvered Hope next to it. "Raj, open the airlock," she commanded. As the airlock opened, Aisha reached out and plucked the marble-sized planet from space. She held it in her hand, feeling the weight of an entire world. "This is impossible," Sarah muttered, shaking her head. "Not impossible," Aisha corrected her. "Just seventh-dimensional physics." With another thought, Aisha restored the planet to its original size, placing it gently back in its orbit. News of Hope's abilities spread quickly across the galaxy. Alien civilizations that had once laughed at humanity now watched in fear and awe. On a distant world, the surviving members of the Galactic Council gathered in emergency session. "The humans must be stopped," cried one alien, its tentacles waving in agitation. "They're too powerful." "Stop them," scoffed another. "How? Did you not see what they did to our fleet?" As the council argued, Hope continued its journey. Aisha and her crew visited dying stars, reigniting them with seventh-dimensional energy. They repaired planets torn apart by war, reshaping continents and cleansing atmospheres. In a remote corner of the galaxy, they encountered a black hole threatening to devour an inhabited system. Aisha guided Hope right to the edge of the event horizon. "What are you doing?" Raj asked nervously. "Even we can't escape a black hole." Aisha smiled. Who said anything about escaping? With a surge of seventh-dimensional power, Hope reached into the very heart of the black hole. The crew watched in amazement as Aisha began to unravel it, spreading its compressed mass across space. Where once there was a deadly void, now a new star system formed. Planets coalesced from the scattered matter, life-giving warmth spreading from the newborn sun. As word of Hope's feats spread, the attitude of the galaxy began to change. Fear turned to curiosity, then to admiration. Alien ships approached Hope, not to attack, but to observe and learn. Aisha welcomed them, eager to share humanity's knowledge. "We were wrong about you," admitted the captain of an alien vessel, its crystalline body shimmering with humility. "We thought you were primitive, but you've mastered the universe in ways we never imagined." Aisha smiled. "We still have much to learn," she said, "but we're eager to explore the cosmos alongside our galactic neighbors." As Hope continued its voyage, reality itself seemed to bend to humanity's will. But with great power came great responsibility, and Aisha knew the hardest challenges were yet to come. "Where to next, Captain?" Raj asked, his eyes sparkling with the reflection of 1,000 stars. Aisha looked out at the vast expanse of the universe, now open to them in ways no one had ever dreamed possible. "Everywhere," she said softly. "We're going everywhere." And with that, Hope blinked out of existence, ready to rewrite the laws of physics in another corner of the cosmos. The age of humanity had begun, and the universe would never be the same. The Grand Hall of the Galactic United Nations buzzed with excitement. Representatives from thousands of alien species filled the room, their eyes fixed on the central podium. Today was a historic day. Earth was officially joining the galactic community. Dr. Aisha Khan stood at the podium, her heart racing. Just a year ago, these same aliens had laughed at humanity. Now they looked at her with a mix of awe and respect. "Fellow beings of the cosmos," Aisha began, her voice echoing through the hall. "Today marks the beginning of a new era, an era where humanity stands proud among the stars." As she spoke, holographic displays showed scenes from Earth's recent achievements. The Hope ship dancing between dimensions, barren planets transformed into lush paradises, dying stars reignited with seventh-dimensional energy. "We come not as conquerors, but as partners," Aisha continued. "Our mastery of seventh-dimensional physics isn't just for us. It's a gift we wish to share with all." The alien delegates murmured in approval. Many of them had already benefited from Earth's new technology. Entire civilizations had been saved from cosmic disasters, thanks to humanity's interventions. In the front row, Zorg X7, the former leader of the now-dissolved Galactic Council, shifted uncomfortably. It was hard to believe that the humans he once mocked as primitive apes were now the most advanced species in the known universe. As Aisha's speech ended, the hall erupted in applause. Tentacles waved, crystalline bodies glowed, and energy beings pulsed with excitement. Earth was welcomed into the galactic fold with open arms, or tentacles, or pseudopods, as the case may be. Back on Earth, humans watched the ceremony on giant screens in city squares. Children looked up at the sky with wonder, knowing that the stars were no longer out of reach. In New Delhi, where it all began, Aisha's old team gathered to watch. Raj wiped a tear from his eye as he saw his friend and leader addressing the galaxy. "Remember when we thought building a seventh-dimensional ship was impossible?" Sarah said, nudging Raj playfully. "Impossible is just a word humans haven't learned to spell yet," Raj replied with a grin. As the ceremony concluded, Aisha made her way through the crowd of alien dignitaries. Each wanted to shake her hand, or tentacle, or energy field, and express their admiration. "Dr. Khan," a voice called out. Aisha turned to see a familiar face, the blue-skinned alien who had once laughed at Earth's primitive technology. I owe you an apology," the alien said, its eyes downcast. "We were wrong to underestimate your species." Aisha smiled warmly. "There's no need for apologies. We're all learning and growing together now." As she made her way back to Hope, Aisha reflected on the journey that had brought humanity to this point. From a locking stock to the leaders of the galaxy, all because they dared to dream big. Aboard the ship, her crew waited eagerly. "Where to now, Captain?" Raj asked as Aisha settled into her chair. Aisha's eyes twinkled with excitement. Now we go beyond." With a thought, Hope vanished from the space around the Galactic UN headquarters. It reappeared at the very edge of the known universe. Before them stretched an endless expanse of uncharted space. New galaxies, new dimensions, new forms of life waiting to be discovered. Ready for another adventure, Aisha asked her crew. Their enthusiastic cheers were all the answer she needed. As Hope prepared to leap into the unknown, Aisha couldn't help but smile. This was humanity's destiny, to explore, to learn, to grow. The ship that had once been Earth's last hope was now the herald of a new age of discovery. With the power of the seventh dimension at their fingertips, there was no limit to what they could achieve. As Hope disappeared into the cosmic unknown, Aisha's words echoed across the stars, to infinity and beyond. The cosmic joke had come full circle. The laughingstock had become the leader, the student had become the teacher, and as humanity ventured into the great unknown, the entire universe held its breath, eager to see what these remarkable beings would do next. The age of humanity had truly begun, and the cosmos would never be the same again.